What's going on, guys? It's Colin here for NextGenTactics, and I'm bringing you some Bad Company 2 gameplay. But the purpose of this commentary, initially at least, is to talk about Battlefield 3 and recent updates, or in the case of a beta date, the lack of an update from EA and DICE. Now, I did have the chance to sit down and talk to Ian Tournay, who's known as Crash7800 on Twitter, and he is now the new Battlefield 3 community manager for EA Games. Now, in the past, I've had the chance to sit down and talk to Jinto, aka Daniel Matros, who is the Battlefield Global Community Manager for DICE. But Ian is from EA, brings a bit of a different perspective, and I pressed him on the beta date, and he did talk around, the challenges that they're facing and why there's been no date forthcoming at this point. So actually, it was on the Don't Revive Me Bro podcast that I did this. So if you want to check out the audio interview in its entirety, it was about an hour long, and a link to the podcast will be in the description. And I was co-hosting that with my buddy Chris, aka Red Dragons from Don't Revive Me Bro. So anyway, had a great chat with Ian, and they're going to announce the beta date when they announce it. And obviously everyone is foaming at the mouth trying to figure out when the beta is going to come, but they did say that it would be in September. So I think it's fair to say that it's going to be quite late in September. And the concern that people have is that it's not going to give DICE enough time to react to beta feedback before the retail release. And I do think that at this point, given how I've seen DICE react from the alpha, and also, to feedback given on Bad Company 2, although they did slow down on their support a little bit when they were working on Bad Company 2 Vietnam, or it seemed that way anyway. I have faith that they're going to basically not sleep from the time that beta drops until the game releases, or until they ship it, so that they can be constantly putting work in and tweaking things. One great way to find out what's happening is to follow Demise99 on Twitter. I've mentioned him before. His name's Alan Kurtz. I think I said he was the lead developer. He's the lead gameplay designer at DICE. So, he's been tweaking things like crazy. So I think that they're definitely going to have time to react, even if it's a very short turnaround between beta and retail release. And the folks that have the Medal of Honor Limited Edition, or those who pre-ordered Battlefield 3 on Origin, will have 48-hour early access. So all of those details will be forthcoming. There's been lots of rumors that it was going to be September the 9th, and then they just released the trailer the other day, which was Operation Guillotine, and there was a date on that the operation continues on September 16th. So some were speculating that the 16th would be the date, but at this point it's all speculation. As far as I can tell, and I think he was being straight with me, is that Ian doesn't actually know the date at this point. So they're being cautious, and they're not going to promise on something they can't deliver. So I think what DICE's approach is, and I like this approach in my professional life, is to kind of under-promise, over-deliver, as opposed to setting goals that they just can't reach. So it's going to be great when it comes out. I can't wait, obviously, and Spider Bite and Guns for Hire just put out an announcement video today. They'll be attending a LAN event in California on an aircraft carrier that'll be put on by NVIDIA. So that'll be pretty cool, but you have to assume that by the time that thing drops, the beta will have already happened. So here's hoping. And yeah, so that's about it for the beta. I'm not going to dwell on that too much. More information's been released around, some of the specs, and the debate rages on around the sniper kit and whether or not there will be a one-hit kill to the body at any range with sniper rifles. And it seems that Demise99 is sticking to his guns, and they're sticking with a model that requires headshots. So if you're going to be trying to snipe in Battlefield 3, then you might want to pick up like the Recon kit in Bad Company 2, where you do have bullet drop incorporated, and get used to going for those headshots. And the community reaction's quite mixed on that. I made a video on that topic already, but it's going to be what it is. And I think that people are saying that the sniper needs to have the abilities in close quarters. They want to see the aggressive recon, which is the subject of many montages and frag movies. But what Demise would have tweeted is that the DMRs, the designated marksman rifles, which are semi-auto typically, are very capable in close quarters. And so are the pistols, but the bolt actions are not, and they shouldn't be. So I think that they're standing by that one. Now, Guns for Hire already did a discussion on the Operation Guillotine trailer. It's a night operation that looks extremely intense. It's very short. It is, I think it was actually labeled as a teaser, so I can't wait to see more footage from that. But at this point, you know, I'm almost getting sick of watching trailer footage and the hype machine. I just want to play the damn game, as I'm sure many of you do, which is why I think there's so much furor happening right now over the beta date, because people want to get their hands on this game, and I am among them. So anyway, we're going to have to see how that plays out for sure, but as soon as we know anything additional, definitely will be letting you guys know here on NGT. So I'm going to talk briefly about the gameplay here, and we were playing against a team that seemed to just want to keep pushing into our spawn. So over the first 3 or 4 bases, they would just make a beeline straight to our spawn and try and kill us, and they weren't defending their MCOM stations. So it wasn't until this final push that they actually got their shit together, stopped just trying to spawn kill us, and defended the crates and provided us with a bit of a challenge. So this last base is kind of the majority of the video, but it's the most entertaining part, and I've kind of whipped through the rest of it quite quickly. Now, a couple of other things, actually right here, this is something that you should think of doing when you're attacking this last base. If you have an engineer, take down that stationary heavy MG. As soon as you spawn and as soon as you can take it down, it makes life easier in trying to approach the base. And because I didn't really know what they were doing, I figured I'd just take the approach straight up the gut. Now, a couple of other issues that have been discussed. One of them, really to me, is a non-issue. I mean, it's just nothing really you can say or do about it, but the fact that Xbox 360 will be getting 2 discs for this game. And, you know, this is nothing new. I mean, Xbox supports DVD, and you're limited to 8 gigs if you have a dual-layer DVD as to the amount of data. Obviously, this game's huge maps, and so there's going to be 2 discs. That's not an issue on the PS3, where PS3 supports Blu-ray, but you know, those that are trying to make a huge deal out of that, I don't see it as a big issue. This is going to be a big game, and, you know, I'll install it to my hard drive on Xbox. I'll have the Blu-ray on PS3. Not worried about it, but anyway, the other thing that has been discussed is whether or not it's true HD, and I know I'm kind of rehashing some of the recent gun shop videos, but again, the game is actually going to be running at, I think it's 702p, so they're actually taking out some of the lines of resolution in order to save memory and increase performance. And, you know, most games these days, they don't run at those true HD resolutions. I don't think it's going to be an issue. I think that that's a big part of why Battlefield 3 had such a long development cycle, was to optimize the engine for all current gaming platforms. So I think it's going to be a beautiful game. I'm not worried about the 30 frames per second. I'm not worried about the HD factor. You know, and I will give you guys a full review. I will participate, or attempt to participate anyway, as long as I can do this on my EA account, in the beta on all 3 platforms. I'll give you guys a compare and contrast. I do have Medal of Honor Limited Edition on the Xbox, so I might get the 2-day early access, and I pre-ordered Battlefield 3 on Origin, so hopefully I can play the Xbox and PC for a couple of days, and then if I can get into the open beta on PS3, then I'll attempt to do that as well. If I have to pick one platform to play the beta on, I'll probably do it on PC, just to kind of get a feel for how my rig stacks up and runs the game. Don't know, but I don't know. I kind of feel selfish doing that, but that's how I want to roll. I hope that I don't have to choose between the platforms, and I do hope that I'm able to play it on all 3 and give you guys an idea, because I know that there are a few folks that are kind of on the fence that are considering building a PC gaming computer for... Man, that was a redundant statement. A gaming rig for Battlefield 3 and moving away from console, but I still think that it's going to be a really fun game and a great experience on the console. So I'm hoping to be able to kind of review that for you guys and give you my thoughts. I'll be playing it on all 3, as I've said many times, so, you know, I will be checking all of them out and reviewing them all thoroughly. Anyway, so back to the gameplay. We finally, we had to take a few stabs at this base. Eventually we take a spawn point in behind them and try and actually do what we would do against a competent team who had displayed a lot of fight in them in the previous bases, whereas we didn't really expect that out of these guys, so we just kind of rushed right at them, and it worked for a bit, but they smartened up and started defending their crates, so we actually had to flank and hold down a spawn point. So I get the crate armed, and they shoot me. So taking another approach, spawn in on my buddy Stone, and going to try and get upstairs, and they've actually got the crate crowded, so I'm able to go take 2 of them down, but they get me, unfortunately. So we're still struggling away, and now Stone and I are actually going to split up. He's going to go the back route. I'm going to go up the front stairs and see if we can't kind of sandwich the MCOM station and clean the floor out from both sides. But our 3rd squad mate called out he was down, so rather than rush upstairs, because I knew Stone was going to be in a dangerous spot, I decided to lay low until he could spawn on me and then attempt to make our move and finish this thing off. So the first bases weren't that entertaining. We kind of ran through them, but this last base was. And I mean, this is probably the hardest set of crates to take, especially, you know, once the defense kind of all collapses in this one building. It's so cramped that you have to kind of be strategic around, you know, taking up position, maintaining a presence around this building, because, you know, if you just sit back and keep coming in from spawn, then it's just a trickle effect and you don't get anywhere. Shot that guy who was still laying back in our spawn, even though both crates are armed and they're about to lose the game. And I'm going to clean up a couple more guys here, and we finish it up. So hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'll be making more to cover, you know, different information as it comes in, but I did want to get that out there just around the non-update for the beta, and I won't put a misleading title on this video. I will announce it as a non-update, but definitely check out the podcast. The link will be in the description. You can get to know the new community manager for Battlefield from EA. Great guy, very funny guy, and it was a very enjoyable conversation for me. So that is it. Cheers. We'll talk soon.
Did you like this video? If you did, be sure to check out a couple of these here at the top on NGT Games. Spider-Bite and Meatwagon are playing a campaign co-op through Resistance 3. Here in the middle on NGT Zombies, Spider-Bite, Meatwagon, and myself will be playing a walkthrough of the co-op campaign of Dead Island on PC. And at the bottom, Guns on the Gun Shop is talking about the COD Elite Premium service for Call of Duty. Guys, be sure to click the corresponding thumbnails to watch the videos.